Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're continuing our lovely fables. This one is called The Dog and the Cook. A rich man once invited a number of his friends and acquaintances to a banquet. His dog thought it would be a good opportunity to invite another dog, a friend of his. So he went to him and said, "My master is giving a feast. There'll be a fine spread, so come and dine with me tonight." The dog thus invited came, and when he saw the preparations being made in the kitchen, he said to himself, "My word, I'm in luck. I'll take care to eat enough tonight to last me 2 or 3 days." At the same time he wagged his tail briskly, by way of showing his friend how delighted he was to have been asked. But just then the cook caught sight of him, and in his annoyance at seeing the strange dog in the kitchen, caught him up by the hind legs and threw him out of the window. He had a nasty fall, and limped away as quickly as he could, howling dismally. Presently some other dogs met him and said, "Well, what sort of dinner did you get?" To which he replied, "I had a splendid time. The wine was so good, I drank so much of it, that I really don't remember how I got out of the house." Oh, that's sad. Be shy of favours bestowed at the expense of others. And that is true though. Never accept a favour from someone who proclaims it to be from someone else, because that would be not so good. Probably turn out just like the poor little dog, I would think. The next fable is called The Monkey as King. At a gathering of all the animals, the monkey danced and delighted them so much that they made him their king. The fox, however, was very much disgusted at the promotion of the monkey. So, having one day found a trap with a piece of meat in it, he took the monkey there and said to him, "Here is a dainty morsel I have found. Sire, I did not take it for myself, because I thought I ought to be reserving it for you, our king. Will you be pleased to accept it?" The monkey made at once for the meat and got caught right in the trap. Then he bitterly reproached the fox for leading him into danger, but the fox only laughed and said, "Oh, monkey, you call yourself king of the beasts and haven't more sense than to be taken in just like this." The Thieves and the Cock. Some thieves broke into a house and found nothing worth taking except a cock, which they seized and carried off with them. When they were preparing their supper, one of them caught up the cock and was about to kill him, to wring his neck, when he cried out for mercy and said, "Pray do not kill me. You will find me a most useful bird, for I rouse honest men to their work in the morning by my crowing." But the thief replied with some heat, "Yeah, I know you do, making it still harder for us to get a livelihood. Into the pot thou goes." And he was cooked and eaten. The Farmer and Fortune. A farmer was ploughing one day on his farm when he turned up a pot of golden coins with his plough. He was overjoyed at his discovery, and from that time forth made an offering daily at a shrine of the goddess of the earth. Fortune was displeased at this, and came to him and said, "My man, why do you give earth the credit for the gifts which I bestowed upon you? You never thought of thanking me for your good luck. But should you be unlucky enough to lose what you have gained. I know very well that I, Fortune, should then come in for all the blame. It's true. Show gratitude where gratitude is due. That's actually quite true. Jupiter and the Monkey. Jupiter issued a proclamation to all the beasts and offered a prize to the one who, in his judgment, produced the most beautiful offspring. Among the rest came the monkey, carrying a baby monkey in his arms. A heiress, flat-nosed, little fright. When they saw it, the gods all burst into peal on peal of laughter. But the monkey hugged her little one to her and said, Jupiter may give the prize to whomsoever he likes, and I shall always think my baby the most beautiful of them all. Ah, that's a sweet one, isn't it? Sweet. The next is called Father and His Sons. A certain man had several sons who were always quarrelling with one another, and, try as he might, he could not get them to live together in harmony. So, he determined to convince them of their folly by the following means. Bidding them fetch a bundle of sticks, he invited each in turn to break it across his knee. All tried and failed, and then he undid the bundle and handed them the sticks one by one. When they had no difficulty at all in breaking them, There, my boys, said he, united we will be more than a match for your enemies. But if you quarrel and separate, your weakness will put you at the mercy of those who attack you. Well, that's true. And it's called Union is Strength. That's the lesson that's also given as another title for the actual fable, but the original title is Father and His Sons. The next is called The Lamp. Just the lamp. A lamp well fixed with oil burned with a clear and steady light, and began to swell with pride and boast that it shone more brightly than the sun himself. Just then a puff of wind came and blew it out. Someone struck a match and lit it again, and said, You just keep a light, and never mind the sun. Why, even the stairs never need to be relit, as you had to be just now. It's an interesting story. Not sure I understand it, or I understand the lesson in it. If anybody does, please comment below. I'd like to know what you think. The Owl and the Birds. The owl is a very wise bird, and once, long ago, when the first oak sprouted in the forest, she called all the other birds together and said to them, You see this tiny tree. If you take my advice, you will destroy it now when it is small, for when it grows big, the mistletoe will actually appear from it, from which bird lime will be prepared for your destruction. Again, when the first flax was sown, she said to them, Go and eat up that seed, for it is the seed of the flax, not of which men will one day make nets to catch you. Once more, when she saw the fires, she then gathered and warned the birds that he was their deadly enemy, who would wing his arrows with their own feathers and shoot them. But they took no notice of what she said. In fact, they thought she was rather mad and laughed at her. When, however, everything turned out as she had foretold, they changed their mind and conceived a great respect for her wisdom. Hence, whenever she appears, the birds attend upon her in the hope of hearing something that may be for their good. She, however, gives them advice no longer, but sits, moping and pondering on the folly of her kind. Another bizarre one, isn't it, that? Not sure what that means. But if you know and have an idea, then I'd like to hear your thoughts. The ass in the lion's skin. An ass found a lion's skin and dressed himself up in it. Then he went about, frightening everyone he met, for they all took him to be a lion, men and beasts alike, and took in their heels when they saw him coming. Elated by his success of his trick, he loudly brayed in triumph. The fox heard him and recognised him at once, for the ass he was, and said to him, "Aho, my friend, it's you, is it? I, too, should have been afraid if I hadn't heard your voice." The fox seems to be very smart in all of these fables, and that's because actually I love foxes, I really do. I had a family of foxes that used to come visit. Not seen them this time, but I did see them year before and whatnot. But the fox used to be worshipped at one point. The she-goats and their beards. Jupiter granted beards to the she-goats at their own request, much to the disgust of the he-goats, who considered this to be an unwarranted invasion of their rights and dignities. So they sent a deputation to him to protest against his action. He, however, advised them not to raise any objections. "What's in a tougher hair?" said he. "Let them have it if they want it. They can never be a match for you in strength." True, but again, I am not sure of the lesson in that, of what that's meant to mean. If you have any idea of the lesson, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The old lion. A lion, enfeebled by age and no longer able to procure food for himself by force, determined to do so by cunning. Betaking himself to a cave, he lay down inside, and find to be stick and still. He pretended also to be sick, and whenever any of the other animals entered to inquire after his health, he sprang upon them and devoured them. Many lost their lives in this way, till one day a fox called at the cave, and having a suspicion of the truth, addressed the lion from outside instead of going in, and asked him how he did. He replied that he was in a very bad ways. "But," said he, "why do you stand outside? Pray come in." "I should have done so," answered the fox, "if I hadn't noticed that all the footprints point towards the cave and none point the other way. So therefore, none of the other animals ever left the cave." See, there we go again. How smart is the fox? I told you. Foxes are incredible. The boy bathing. A boy was bathing in a river and got out of his depth and was in great danger of being drowned. A man who was passing along a road heard his cries for help and went to the riverside and began to scold him for being so careless as to get into deep water, but made no attempt to help him. "Oh, sir," cried the boy, "please help me first. Scold me afterwards." That's that story, and apparently give assistance, not advice, in a crisis. And then the next one is called The Quack Frog. Once upon a time, a frog came forth from his own little home in the marshes, and proclaimed to all the world that he was a learned physician, skilled in drugs and able to cure all diseases. Among the crowd was a fox, who called out, "You a doctor? Why? How can you set up to heal others when you cannot even cure your own lame legs and blotched and wrinkled skin? And apparently the lesson in that is, physician, heal thyself. I'm going to leave those here, guys, because it's just over 15 minutes and I'm trying to keep them under 15 minutes, my premieres. But thank you for listening to these fables, and many blessings.